Hello, 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 hello. Hey, 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 hey. Welcome to the well. Everybody say welcome to the well. Hey, y'all. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Well Woman Experience podcast. I am your girl, your host, RD Hill. And boy, oh boy, am I excited about tonight. Listen, wellness looks like peace. Yes, get your wellness t-shirt. You get a shirt. You get a shirt. Everybody gets a shirt. Yes, if you want to order your wellness t-shirt, you want to order your Well Woman Experience t-shirt, come on, come on, come on. In my Philadelphia voice, come on, young bull, and order your shirt on tonight. How y'all doing out there? How are you doing out there on tonight? I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I'm happy. It's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. Baby, we closer to the weekend than you ever expected. Hey, if you have not done so already, go ahead and hit like. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Hit like, then share this video. Share this video. Share it with your son. Share it with your uncle. Share it with your boo jank. Share it with your stick boy. Share it with your home girl, your stick girl, your girlfriend. Just share it. Because tonight the show is going to be off the chain, off the rocker, off the marker, off the everything that you can be off. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. Listen, we got to take care of some housekeeping business first. Y'all already know it's Forgiver Conference season. I don't know about you, but you need to get your ticket. Listen, there are only 50 VIP seats. And I think last time I checked, there were 42 left. That sounds like a lot, but it's October. Yeah, 2 days. It's October. And people getting paid. People going to go ahead and start buying their tickets. Get your ticket. That ticket comes with a t-shirt, a bag, a full course meal, girl talk panel. And I'm telling you, I'm not even introducing the panel yet. I'm keeping that close to my heart right now. I'm keeping those cards close to my heart right now. You don't want to miss the panel, the Girl Talk panel. Not only do we have some prolific speakers on the panel, but we have some doctors on the panel. We have financial strategists on the panel. We have licensed counselors, social workers, licensed clinical social workers on the panel. We got trauma specialists on the panel. We have preachers on the panel. We have life coaches on the panel. Baby, the only person probably not on the panel is me. We have some heavy hitters for this conference. I'm telling you, this God is really showing out this year for the Forgiver Conference, March 22nd through the 23rd, 2024. Listen, you don't always have to be on the platform to support. Sometimes you need to be poured into. So if you have not gotten your ticket, go on to Plan You Inc. Let me put it in the comments. www.planyouinc.com and go up there and get your ticket. Planyouinc.com. Listen, like and share. I don't see no likes. I don't know where the likes are located, but I don't see no likes. I'm wondering where the likes at. All I'm asking, it don't hurt to like the video. Just hit the little heart. Hit it. Hit it like that. Touch it. And just like that, you have liked the video. Simple, right? Nevertheless, then I want you to share. Hit the little arrow that says share. Share the video. Share the video. Sharing, they say, is caring. Sharing is caring. Oh, my Lord. 7 years ago, retired. Soldier for life. Look at that. Soldier for life. Retired 7 years ago. Ho! Army strong. Ho! Yeah, 7 years ago. Look at God. Look at God. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Listen, I need y'all to share. I need you to share the video. Put some comments, say hello, tell me who you are. It's free. You don't have to worry about who watching you. Share, like. We want some interaction. You know, when people are telling you their stories of triumph, we want some interactions. If them sorry tale cowboys was on, y'all would be loud and wrong. Let's go, Steelers. Let's go. Yes. Come on. That's how we should be cheering for each other. When somebody has overcome adversity, when somebody has triumphed, when somebody has been incarcerated and never returned again, baby, we should be loud and proud. Support. That's support. Don't support me when I'm dead. Don't support me if a cop or something harm me. Now everybody want to march and say the name. Say the name when people are living, when people are trying and they're striving. Say their name then. Say, listen, I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. I support you. How can I be of some assistance to you? That's support. Serve your community that way. Let them know. Great job. Great job, black man. Great job, black woman. Great job, my sister. Great job, my sister of another mister. Because we're all one. Listen, let's band together. Don't just wait until something tragic happened and then we want to come together and put on t-shirts. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yes, but listen, Forgive Her Conference, March 22nd through the 23rd, 2024. Get your ticket. Get your ticket. I need y'all to like the video. Like the video. Liking is free. You know what? We ain't got no Cash App up. We not asking you to donate. We not asking you to give anything. Oh, that's not true. We got our 50 kids for the Angel Tree. We need 50 people to sponsor a child. Sponsor a child that gives $25 or less. We need 50 people. 50 people. We need 50 people to sponsor a child. It's just that easy. Are you willing to sponsor a child? Let me ask y'all. Are you willing to sponsor a child for the Angel Tree? You don't have to spend more than $25. They say $25 or less. And you write a note in there to let a child know that they have your support while their parents are incarcerated. We will also be doing our Thanksgiving feeding. Thanksgiving feeding. If you are a cook, you cook well. You cook well. You cook well. If you cook well, you know, we would like for you to donate some food. Y'all don't need all 17 pies. Let's give 2 of those to the homeless. We want to feed them for Thanksgiving. I went out today with the Salvation Army and we fed about 40 people today that were hungry, that needed socks, that needed blankets, that needed raincoats. Yeah, somebody said I will sponsor a child. I don't know who you are, D, but we thank you. Please inbox me. Please inbox me, D. Thank you so much. That's what I'm talking. That is what community and support is all about. I ain't gonna talk y'all to death about it, but as it goes, we need more support. Thank you so much, D. Thank you so much. Thanksgiving for the homeless. Listen, some people are homeless. Hey, Sonya. Yes. Sonya Jackson, if you're nasty. Baby, that's what I'm talking about. Woohoo! Yes. We need more of that. That's what I'm talking about. Sharing is caring. All right, listen. Y'all ready? If you ready, Let me hear you say yes. Say yes, because I got a show for you tonight. But first, let me show you this. Hit the like button, hit share. Forgive Her Conference. Forgive Her Conference. Pastor Siobhan Smith is our keynote speaker. Pastor Siobhan Smith is our keynote speakers. We have our vendor lounge is booked. Vendor lounge is booked. Solidified. That's a wrap. You didn't get your vendor booth. We want to get you next time. Yes, yes. We want to get you next time. Okay? That's all to do. But you can still get a ticket. We have tickets, early bird special right now, $39.99. $39.99 for a 2-day conference. Go on Plan You Inc. and get your ticket. Hit share. All you got to do is hit share. Let the people know. Hit share. So that we want you there. We want you in the building. You cannot afford to miss this conference. We also have Q, certified trauma professional, Cornea Futrell. If you don't know, check your morning news. Check who's who. Check top 40, under 40. Check all of the local prison facilities. She's mentoring people, mentoring children, writing books, had a conference with Stedman. I mean, listen, it goes on and on. She has a conference in San Francisco or San Diego in 2 weeks. Then she's having another one in Sandbridge in $1 million home. She has all types of professionals that are under her tutelage, businesses, entrepreneurs, serialpreneurs, entrepreneurs. Listen, you don't want to miss certified trauma professional teaching Trauma Ain't Normal breakout session at the Forgive Her Conference, Hampton Roads Convention Center, March 22nd through the 24th. Then we have our deliverance service leaders. Baby, listen, these two beasts in the spirit, they tarry for the Lord. They tarry for the Lord, for the kingdom of God. And they are excited about their assignment, already getting geared up. We are already fasting and praying, asking the Lord to deliver us. We don't want to just come there and have a good time and say, oh, we had fun at the conference. That's not what it's about. We want to truly leave well. We're going to leave it all at the well. Just like that woman dropped her pail and went out and went into purpose. That's what we plan on doing, baby. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I need y'all to hit like and hit share. I need a little more likes. I need a few more likes and I need a few more shares. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all know what time it is. You know what time it is.
And we're wrong. God, we've gotten away from the main thing. God, we've forgotten what our first mission and our first work was. God, we put more emphasis on building buildings and not building people. Give us what you labored for. Give us what you suffered for. Give us what you took persecution for. I can't give you what I paid for. My pain prepared me. Persecution prepared me. Conflict, isolation prepared me. The divorce prepared me. The setback prepared me. I can't give you. I can't give you what I almost lost my mind to get. Don't you box the power of God. So just one place. Your vision that's messed up. You're trying to build something big with small minds.
In there, let's win this fight.
Trauma ain't normal. If you are here, you know it is time for you to unleash the champion. And I am here in your corner, ready to help you do that. It is time to change your generation.
But that's my baby right there. While my mom is essentially the ground and the safe space for any of us who have dealt with mama trauma. When you have dealt with an uncomfortable conversation, a wound, dealing with the woman who birthed you, that was supposed to nurture you and love you and care for you, and that lady was crazy.
Right? Because I would say, especially in most cultures, I'm not even gonna coin it as just one. In most cultures, right, in most families, really calling out those things in our households, calling out those traumas isn't a thing, we got to keep it quiet. It's not something we really talk about a lot. Therapy is for crazy people, right? Why do you believe it's important for us to really call out those things so that we can reach the level in which even where you are now today? I call it mama trauma, right? When you've just been through so much stuff. And I would say, I'm gonna go out on a stretch here and say, having one mom kind of toss you in the trash can and one find you, I would say that's mama trauma.
It is time for you to truly tap into all that God has called you to do, all that God has called you to be. And the only way to do that is for you to make room for Him to manifest all those things that you've been crying about, those things you've been praying about. He can't do it if you ain't making room. Check out and see how I can help you. The services we offer, what programs we offer. Do not leave this website the same, because you came here for a reason. If you was looking for a sign, baby, this is it. Let's go.
Listen, before I leave and we start this show, I want you to know this show is special. This show is in-depth. This show was so powerful that there are two parts. Catch part 2 at 10:45 p.m. tonight, and both parts will air tomorrow at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Again, this is a 2-part series. This show hit so hard that we could not contain it. You want to share. I'm telling you now, share. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the other side.
You are beautiful. You are smart. You are funny. You are kind. You are unique. You are worthy of love and affection. You are never too much, and you are always enough. You are precious. You are a diamond, a rose, a pearl, the most stunning of all God's creation. You are worth more than you could ever imagine. Worth more than the numbers on the scale, or the hair product you use, or the shoes you wear. More than how many girls wish they were you, or how many guys wish they had you. More than the price tags on your clothes, or the percentage at the top of your math test, or even the number of followers you have on Twitter. Your worth surpasses all earthly things, because in the eyes of the Lord God, you are loved, and you are worth dying for. Regardless of who you think you are. Whether you model in a magazine or you model pottery with grandma. Whether you're on the hot list or the not list. Whether you're head cheerleader or a high school dropout. Whether you're Miss Popular or you've never had anyone you could call a friend. Whether you love yourself and love your life, or you can't stand to look in the mirror and you feel as if everything in your life is falling apart. Whether you're such a winner or you feel like the world's biggest failure, regardless of who you think you are. The reality is that you deserve someone who would give up their life for you, because you are powerful and strong and capable. Read about the women in the Bible: Esther, Ruth, Martha, Mary. These women changed the world forever. And inside of you each and every one of you is a woman with that same power and that same strength and that same world-changing capability. And your responsibility is to find that woman and to set that woman free. This is who you are. And any voices in your mind that try and tell you differently are from the enemy. And the next time you hear them, this is what you say. You say, "Nuh-uh, not me, Satan. I am a daughter of the living God, cherished, loved, and adored above all things by the creator of all things for the glory of him who is greater than all things. I am awesome." And please, don't you forget it.
I am your girl, your host, R.D. Hill, and I am here at the well with a very special guest. Listen, the conversation before we even got started is making me already tear up. I am so excited about having my big brother, my big cousin, my protector in high school, my friend, my confidant, my personal trainer. I mean, literally, he was everything to me, and quiet as a kept. We had Jerry curls together, baby. Yes, yes, carefree curls. But when I tell you I love me some him, he is one of the most intelligent, intellectual, articulate people that I know. And I know that someone's life is going to be blessed for this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've been asking me about him, but he is here live and in living color. It's Sean Gray. Woo! Hey there, cousin.
Hey, cuz, thank you for that. The check's in the mail.
Yeah. Listen. I would do that for free because you are all of those things to
Thank
me.
you.
I remember many days on the porch crying, getting advice from you, and still to this day, you have not changed. You have
Thank
not changed. But
Thank
for those that don't know you, please tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I can start and say I have a little experience with the street life. I think it started around 19 for me.
Okay.
Uh, I was working at a job. I was working at a contractor for the shipyard,
Hmm.
and I got to meet a lot of cats that was dabbling in the streets.
Okay.
I was still straight laced, of course, but I seen all these cats. They had money on off pay weeks, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Yo, we're not making any money. How you got it like that?"
Mm-hmm.
And they started telling me, "Say, man, well, I do a little twirling on the side. I do this and do that." And we had some family members that might have partaken on that, so I had a little knowledge of it, but I never really done it myself.
Okay.
And so, you rationalize things when you want to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was where I want to get a car.
Okay.
And then after that, it was where I want to put some rims on the car,
Mm-hmm.
and before you know it, you're doing things you hadn't done before. Uh, I think part of it was youthful indiscretion.
Mm.
And, it was new to me. I went slow in it. I learned from cats that was already deep in it.
Okay.
The old Greek philosopher Virgil said, "Trust someone that's been through it." And so I learned from cats that was living it.
Good. That's
And
good.
slowly, I got pulled out there. Before I knew it, I was a young man. I was working 5 days a week, sometimes overtime. But my real job was hustling after work.
Mm.
Uh, you know, I didn't really like it at first because, for one thing, I was a little scared. Then I felt guilt. You
Mm.
know, you start seeing, what it does to the people that's coming to you.
Okay.
But an old head that told me that was a user. He said, "Hey, let me tell you something, young buck." He said, "If you don't sell it to me, I'm gonna get it from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So you just where to get the money." And so I guess that's how the evil one lure you out there. You like, yeah, you're right. I just where to get it. I need it.
I need it. Yeah.
I need it. And
Yeah.
that was pretty much how I went on the slippery slope, you know.
Oh, I love that. Listen, I'm telling. First of all, let me just tell you. Well, those that's here in the well, go ahead and get your thesaurus. Grab your dictionary. Get your notepad so you can write down some of these words because these are big words that we are about to be absorbing and feasting on. But did you catch? Trust someone that has been through it. And it's amazing how we can place our trust in someone that's been through it, and not always someone that's been through the good thing or the right thing, but you trust someone because they have experience. We
Yeah.
trust someone because they have more knowledge. They can show us the road. So I think that's powerful. And for those of you that don't know, our organization, Plan You, we focus on women that have been impacted by incarceration. But our goal is to also have the same program for men. And I thought, who better to be a representative of this than someone that has been through it, experienced it, as well as can articulate very clearly methods and ways in which you can overcome every obstacle that you have experienced. So, could you kind of told us how you got into it. How did you find yourself um, getting incarcerated? How did that come about?
Okay. I think it was quite some time later. I didn't get incarcerated until my 30s. And it was so crazy about it. I didn't do it all the time.
Okay.
I was too scared. I was like, oh, I'm getting hot. So I got to chill out.
Mhm.
But when I stopped working, I was working a job for almost 6 years. And once I stopped working that, I was thinking well, you can't be a hustler full time because then you're really going to get popped.
Mhm.
So after a few years, I was doing it off and on. I'd had my car, I guess I was embedded in the life, so to speak.
Mhm.
So I said, well, I need to do something. So I said, well, I'm going to enroll myself in school. So I enrolled myself in aviation aeronautics school because I always loved things that was fast. We used to run track back in the day, so I loved speed.
Mhm.
And I was lured into that, building jets and modifying them and things like that.
Mhm.
But I made a covenant with God. I said,
Ooh.
Lord, if you can let me finish school, I'm not going to hustle no more. I've
Mhm.
seen too much. I've seen people shot up. I've
Mhm.
been shot at a few times. I beat people up, but I was not a thug. I wasn't raised a thug. I was raised in the church.
That's right.
And I think that was the guilt that was on me.
Mhm.
I was starting to have dreams of being busted before I was busted, but
Wow.
I never shared that with nobody. So I just thought that, well, maybe that was the paranoia, or maybe that was the weed or something. And by the way, I was always health conscious. I did my fair share of drinking, smoked a lot of weed before it was fashionable. Uh, you know what I mean?
You're
I've
right.
dabbled in, popping pills, even snorted a little cocaine if I had to drive a long time to haul some drugs or something. I needed to stay awake, but I didn't like anything besides marijuana.
Mhm.
And I never would smoke the rock, because
Right.
I've seen that turn people in, zombies.
Zombies. I was just
They
yeah.
even did it. So, I never would do that. But
Mhm.
I guess when I was going to school and I was trying to chill and I would come home from school, do my homework, and then my phone would start blowing up. Yo, man, where you at? I need this. I need that. And I'll tell you something else. One of the biggest lures of it is being around some of the most beautiful women in the world. I mean,
Absolutely.
some of them users, they don't look
Mhm.
like it. Some of them just be in the high priced hotels and the restaurants and the parties, and that's a whole nother story. But
Ooh,
all of
no.
that comes with the territory. You know what I mean? And if you make enough money, your name is ringing. And I never wanted that to happen, but I was hanging around with a crew of people that was known to be hustlers, but
Mhm.
smooth with it. You know, if you're doing a certain level of dirt, you can't be out there shooting and fighting and stuff.
Absolutely.
You know,
Mhm.
you're already ducking the man, you're ducking the stick up crews, you're paranoid as hell. And I know I was, but
Mhm.
back to the story, I was going to school and I wound up graduating early. I think I graduated with like a 3.7, and I was proud, and
Not surprised.
I was proud, and I'd had product that I had established, but I wasn't selling it no more. I wasn't giving it to my distributors because I felt so guilty.
Okay.
This was, I think, this was leading up to around the time of Hurricane. What was it, Isabel?
Isabel. Mhm.
Yes, and I noticed I was starting to be followed.
Mm.
I was being followed by strange cars and cats I didn't know. So I didn't know who exactly was following me. And I remember one day a car full of guys. I'd say about 5 or 6 guys. I didn't know any of them. They were Caucasian men, and they asked me. They said, "Hey, man, where to work at?" And I was like, "I don't know. Why you asking me?" That the red light went off. I said, "Man, they cops
Mhm.
or informants." So I knew some type of way I got on sizzle,
Okay. What's on sizzle?
hot.
Hot. Okay. Okay.
Once you're hot, you know the man is on you.
Okay.
I didn't really know if he was on me or not, or if he was on my workers, but I felt I was sizzling, and
Mhm.
I came to the realization. I said, "All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all of this crap up. I'm not going to touch it." But then that's when the deluge happened. I mean, people was calling, "Yo, man, I need this work. I need this work. I got this cash on me. Yo, I got 3 grand on me, man. Yo, I know you got it." And then those
Mhm.
pretty women come at you, your phone blowing up, they ringing your doorbell, they catching you at gas stations. They're like, "Oh, I know some people from Narcotics Anonymous, and they want us to party." And just think about that. You go on to NA, and you still getting hot.
Still.
So that was that world, and eventually, what came to happen is I didn't know it, but I was indicted. Uh,
Mm.
I think the way it happened was I figured out what had happened because I had a lot of jobs that was trying to hire me. Job contractors, General Electric, who build a lot of aircraft engines. I'd interviewed with NASA at the school and some other Northrop Grumman that did a lot of missile work and stuff. And they were really adamant about me working for them. So
Mhm.
then when I tried to capitalize on it, crickets. I couldn't get the people to call me back because I guess when they did the background check, they could see that I was under
I,
investigation.
wow.
That's right. And so it happened. I can remember it happened November 17th, 2003, right before Thanksgiving. It was on a Monday, and they just busted in. They came. They was looking for work, and it was like, "Yeah, we know who you are. We know you got people working for you." They start naming cats that was doing it big in the street. They said, "We know you know this person." And the first thing I was thinking, "Oh Lord, what have I got into now?"
Mhm.
And the only thing I could tell them, I said, "Well, if you know these people, why are you talking to me? I don't know." If you know them, you the police, you go get them.
Right.
Uh, then we had decreed snitches get stitches. And I was
Absolutely.
not going to put my people in the position, to jeopardize them because
Mhm.
of what I decided to do.
Mhm.
So I didn't give the man pretty much anything. Uh, I didn't. We talked a lot. I said, "Man, you guys are underpaid. I think, you know, you being done dirty. Firemen, police, teachers, y'all should get a raise." And I said, "We can talk about anything politics, but I don't have anything to say about narcotics."
Mhm.
They said, "Well, we can respect that. You're not a rat." They said, "But you're still going to prison because we got you on indictment." And they said, "And if you want to go down for those scum, well, you gone." So then they tried to play hardball with me.
Mm. Jesus.
Yeah, even though I didn't have any record, I think I had spent time in jail for 3 hours before that. So I wasn't a thug by no means.
Right.
My previous time of being arrested, I think I was out within 5 hours. I never even made it back to the population. I was sitting in the front, like the lounge area. So this time it was different.
Right.
So when he came with the direct indictment this time, and I talked to the magistrate, he said, by the way, it looks like on the computer, Mr. Gray, you have a murder in St. Louis. I was like, huh? I've never been to St. Louis. He said, well, I got your name and social. And I said, let me see that. I looked at the screen. It was me, but it was one digit off on the social. And I said, see, that's not me. He said, you're right, that's not you. But guess what? No bond. And it hit me right then. I said, yo, man, I graduated from college. No record. And you're going to tell me no bond? He said, well, you got some serious charges. You got conspiracy to distribute narcotics. You got people working for you. We know you was toting weapons. I said, you didn't get no weapon. You didn't get no drugs. But it doesn't matter, because once they put that conspiracy moniker on you, and this goes back to how the proliferation of the war against drugs got so prevalent over the years. The crack cocaine epidemic was really bad in the starting in the late 80s and then through the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave the police and the prosecutors power to stop it because it was getting so violent in the streets. And so I think the pendulum swung too far, where it used to be where they had to catch you dirty. Now they couldn't catch you. They say, well, we just hit you with conspiracy. We just hit you with football numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So then you can't win. And then they start throwing football numbers at me. They say, okay, then, buddy, you looking at 5 to 43 years. And they said, just because you wouldn't play ball, we're going to try to get you on the maximum that we can get. Every charge. So they had charges compounded on charges. I felt like President Trump feel. You know what I mean? And any charge they can get you on, they can multiply. But it was.
You get a charge. You get a charge.
Right, that's right. And I was really. I thought my life was over, and the shame. The shame I felt. I said, Lord have mercy. I said, a year before this indictment, I graduated from college at Virginia Beach Pavilion. And the next year, I'm indicted. I'm sitting in jail with no bond. I said, what in the world happened to me? And so then just that sense of dread and, it's, cousin, I can't even explain it. It felt like I had a 500-pound weight on my shoulders every day. Every day. And I just felt shame for my sister, my mom, my dad. And I said, man, I done brought shame to the name. We had family members before that did time, but none of us.
Never, right.
So it really hit me. But I think what helped me, when I was first incarcerated and they had me like in the little holding tank, it was a deputy sheriff. He looked like a bodybuilder. He was a veteran.
Okay.
And he heard me mumbling to myself. I guess I had the look of dread on my face. And he said, listen, man, let me tell you something. He said, your life isn't over, regardless of what happened. He said, you take it like a man. He said, you pray to God. He said, you're going to get through it. And I think the Lord put him there to tell me that. And that calmed me down just enough to deal with it. To deal with it. So.
Wow. That is such a very, heartfelt story of how you ended up incarcerated, and you very detailed on how you were feeling through that. Would you say that sense of dread and shame is also how you would describe being incarcerated? Like, did you have that same feeling, or were you such in protective mode for yourself that you really were able to feel? Like, what were your feelings after being incarcerated?
After I was released?
No. Before release, once you were sentenced and you were then incarcerated, and you knew you were going to be incarcerated for your period of time. How
Yeah.
how were you feeling then, or were you able to feel?
Yes. I was feeling, I think 7 months went by going back and forth to court.
Okay.
Um, my sister was out there. She was scrambling. Her and my mom, they were scrambling, going back and forth to the lawyer, taking the money. They stayed on top of my case. They were, getting canteen, because everybody that's incarcerated don't get canteen.
Right.
Some guys in there got to eat whatever slop that they're serving. I had money coming every week almost
Hmm.
from different people. I had letters coming. So I had a support structure. I didn't feel like I was isolated or thrown away.
Okay.
But one of the things that you have to do in that situation, you have to go within yourself and feel, but not feel too much.
Mm.
You see, you're in a dangerous situation around some people. Let's be honest, some people were career criminals. Many of them had drug issues. But when you are in that place and the man tells you no bond, and you hear that cling, when you hear that metal close, you have to get yourself together. You have to go within yourself, and again, I listened to cats that been in and out of jail at the time, and he said, let me tell you something, young buck. He said, you look like you don't supposed to be in here. He said, you look too dignified to be in here.
Mm.
I said, what you mean? He said, we can tell you don't supposed to be here. And after that, it seemed like the Lord gave me favor. But the older he has told me, he said, man, listen, if it's anything on your bed, don't touch it. Because if you touch it, that means you owe somebody. I had people, the Lord put people in the way to give me the game.
Okay.
And I always kept my mouth shut. If you can learn a lot more by listening than talking. And I would just watch to the guys that did most of the talking, they were always in trouble. But what kept my mind at peace, besides the guys asking for my help, asking me to write letters to the judge for them, some of them wasn't good with penmanship and words. And I guess the word had got around through a guy I met in there. They called him LA. He was a young man that had a significant case. He was jammed up in one of the Chesapeake Greenbrier hotels, and he had like 250 pounds of weed on him. Now, they wasn't as soft on marijuana as they are today. This
Right.
was 03. So they looked at that as a significant haul. And he had a good attorney, but he asked me, and let me tell you how I met him. First of all, after 12 days of being in the tank, they sent me the population upstairs, and that is a big pod, about 72 men. And when I went in there with the 72 men, he was having beef because he wasn't from here. He was from San Diego, but they called him LA.
Okay.
I figured that out. But guys, he was going to get jumped by a few guys, and I kind of had his back a little bit. I didn't even know that the guy turned out to be a millionaire. And he said, Greg, you need any money? I sent $1,000 to your mom. And I was like, I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to be beholden. I didn't know if he set me up,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't. But the guy was real kind-hearted, and he said, listen, I have this prominent attorney around here. I don't know if you want me to name him. I can. Yeah,
It's up to you whether you feel.
James Broccoletti, who was known for handling a lot of drug cases.
Okay.
I had a good attorney as well. I had William Talaferro.
Okay.
They were some of the best around for handling drug cases. But the thing is, if you don't have the money, you can't even get representation.
Oh my goodness.
And so this is what the thing that I would try to tell young cats, and even my two sons. I'll be like, man, if you don't have the money, you're going to be a court-appointed attorney who's already getting paid. He don't care if you're guilty or not. And he has a whole boatload of cases.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get convicted, it'll be like next. A lot of times A lot of those
Yeah.
court attorneys making deals to sell you out
That's
before
right.
you know it.
That's
And
right.
so the game is rigged. And so
Again.
I couldn't imagine trying to hustle today like we did a few years ago. Today,
Right.
with all of the surveillance and the smartphones, and see, that stuff wasn't out there. But now you're under constant surveillance. I mean, it's crazy. But back to the story, I started reading transcripts for people and writing letters for them, and that seemed to have favor. A lot of guys was respecting me and liking me for helping and not charging, and word it got around to, I guess, to the judge. And you know, one of the guys that I played football with in high school was a sergeant at jail. He came and pulled me out of there. He said, "Man, can't believe you in here." He said, "What are you in here for?" And I told him. He had my jacket anyway, so he could read it. The jacket is
Right.
what your case is. And he
Okay.
said, "Well, man, I don't know if there's anything I can do for you, but if you had any problems with anybody, you let me know." So God was putting people in play. And I believe that comes from a household of growing up with prayer warriors and the prayer band and
Yes. Us
aunts.
traveling. Remember that? Traveling all those places. I told the story about how we was in the pool swimming on a different show, and it started raining, and Grandma yelled, "Y'all get out that pool before you get wet." And
Too
it
late.
was like, we're in the pool. We're already wet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was something else. But I tell you, after 7 months, I think I finally finished going to court.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal that I got was something, it was manna from heaven, because I wouldn't cooperate and tell on the people that they wanted to get. They were trying to charge me 5 years for every charge. Plus they wanted to add 3.5 years on a firearm, which they heard I carried, but they never had it. So this is the power that they have. You know, I was looking at almost 20 years. I was looking at a man with no record, with a graduated from technical college. I was looking at 18 and a half years. And I had to make that decision maybe 30 minutes before court. And so you don't have a whole bunch of time to say, all right, let's strategize. All right, what if this? That's not the way it worked for me. So I turned that down. I said, I'm not taking that. My lawyer had warned me. He said, listen, your case is so flimsy because they have one of your workers on a recording, but he named you that who he works for. So that tapped me on a conspiracy. But they never seen me handing out drugs to anyone, but it doesn't matter. You know that once they have you on that conspiracy to distribute narcotics and they have people saying your name, you jammed up just like they caught you red-handed.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of young cats knew that as well, that's how the laws had changed and gave them the power to do that. You know, that's how they broke the back of the mob. You know, they couldn't really stop the mob, the 5 families in New York, till they start giving out what we call football numbers.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a jersey, you'll see 30 and 45 and 50. That was the type of numbers they was handing out to people with little or no evidence. And I'll tell you what, you can say snitches get stitches and talk tough all you want, but that will break the back of most people.
Absolutely. Listen, I would have been like, "Mommy, me, mommy."
But you know, if it wasn't for prayer, if it wasn't for, I'm gonna tell you something else. It was a gentleman that used to come to the jail every Tuesday, and he had a prayer vigil. That's one of the things about the jail I liked. His name was Brother Kyle. I think he was from Mount Pleasant Church, somewhere around that area.
Okay.
He was an ex-scientist. He was a tall white man. He was like in the 70s, and he was using his time to come and try to talk to anybody that wanted to talk about the gospel. And I tell you what, I said, I listened to him talk, and something drew me to him. I said, you know what? I'm going to go over there and sit with Brother Kyle and listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the man was very smart. He was brilliant. He knew a lot about science and engineering, but he also knew the word. So I started meeting with him every Tuesday for about 8 months. And that gave me a peace of mind.
Okay.
You know, that helped. You know, it's multi religions in there. You know, it's Islam. You know what I mean? There's even Sikh people in there. You know, it's Christians in there, and I suppose there's probably some Luciferians in there. But I didn't I didn't run into them, thank God. But being with Brother Kyle and reading the Word and reading Joyce Myers and things like that, that helped keep me on the even keel and just constantly working out. And you know, I've always done that, and that kept
Right.
me in
I
trouble.
was
Like,
gonna say it seemed like it kind of was like a familiar place, and maybe
yeah,
it kind of reminded you of home.
yeah, it kind of did. It kind of reminded me how we used to go to track practice and stuff. It was structured. And that's what I would say to anybody who have the unfortunate happenings of being incarcerated. You know, don't get caught up in what goes on in there, because you're not going to be there forever. When you know, most people is going to be released.
Right.
You look at the recidivism rates. I think the state of Virginia has one of the lowest recidivism rates, like 20%.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the United States as a whole, it's like 44%, and that's
Right.
one of the highest among nations in the world. So
Absolutely.
I think the problem with incarceration is it has swung too far to punishment instead of rehabilitation.
Woo! That's
Now,
like the voice. Yeah.
you know, I understand everyone can't be rehabilitated because you have to want it. But,
Absolutely.
you know, that's just my personal beliefs on it, from what I've seen in a little bit of time. And when I did go to court, they they said, okay, they came back and said, all right, we'll give you 4 years and 11 months. Now, my lawyer told me, he said, your case is so weak, I could take it to a jury and we could beat it. He said, but what gives you the danger, exposure, is they put with firearm on your charges, even though you didn't have any drugs or firearm. But
Mm-hmm.
just by that being lumped together, I could have been punished severely, because when you add drugs and a firearm,
Okay.
it makes it really compounded, and it could be a federal case. But
Wow.
my case was so weak, the feds turned it down, thank God. And I turned down 4 years and 11 months. I wasn't prepared to do that. And my lawyer was like, okay, well, we're gonna fight it then. Do you know, right before I went into court, they came to me and said, okay, you've been here 7.5 months. Just do 15 more months and get out of here. My lawyer,
What?
he told me, he said that's one of the best deals he've ever heard in the situation that I was in. So if I wouldn't have taken that, I would have rolled the dice and probably been locked up for maybe 15 to 20 years.
Mm.
And the Lord made a way. And
Oh my God.
so in all, I wound up doing 10, I think I did 10 months in jail. I did 15 months in prison and 2 weeks in a halfway house. And that's a whole nother story how that happened. But so I only wound up doing 25 months in 2 weeks. But to me, that could have been 10 years.
Right.
You know, it just seemed like forever. But like I told you, it was people there along the way and guys I worked out with. And some of them was big NFL looking guys, but
Mm-hmm.
they took a liking to me. They said, Gray, I like your workouts. I'm working out with you today. You know, and they put me under the wing and they said, man, let me tell you something. Stop looking at your calendar. They said, don't count the days, count the months.
Oh.
So that helped the time go by a lot faster. You really lose track of time, really.
Okay.
But one of the things that helped as well, from jail to prison, every holiday and every week, I had a visitor.
Okay.
My sister was there almost every week. She was there, but I could see the stress on her face, and it tore me up.
Mm.
And I used to tell her, I said, "Don't bring mom,"
Mm-hmm.
but she did. When I got to prison, she did.
Mm-hmm.
So I internalize that. You said, do I express it? No, I'm somebody that internalize and think to myself, but that's negative on the body and the mind.
It is. It is.
And I just beat myself up for the entire time. I used to have nightmares that I was doing 30 years. And the brain is something you have to learn. You have to train your mind to not go negative.
That's
no
right.
matter what, no matter how dark it looks. The first day I got to the prison, the jail that told me, one of the deputies that I had befriended, he said, Gray, they're going to ship you out of here because they said you helping so many cats get time reductions and stuff. They said, who is this guy reading? Who is this guy reading jail books?
Wait, so hold on. I want to pause right there. So even in the midst of your adversity, you were still willing to help other people to get their sentences reduced, to understand their charges, their paperwork, to write letters. So you were still advocating for other people?
Yes. Yes, I was, because that kept my mind off of my situation. And I felt if I'm there, I just will to be useful. And if I'm going to prayer vigils with Brother Kyle and some of the other inmates, it's about 10 of us every Tuesday, I said, well, I need to put my money where my mouth is. And I knew a lot of these guys in there, some of them were illiterate. I used to read to them. And, I wanted to be useful. And so he said, man, they're going to ship you out of here because they said you helping people. It's rules to legalities, if without getting into it. Like if you're incarcerated and you want to write the judge, you can't do that. That's called ex parte, one-way communication. It's Latin. So that means you would have to write the judge, the prosecutor, and your attorney. You have to write them all and send it to all of them. And I had someone bringing me the legal law books while I was in jail. And I don't think they liked that because I was helping cats go to Catholic charities, getting time reduction, getting cases brought before the judge. And they eventually shipped me to prison after about 10 months. And when my first day getting to the prison, I'll tell you, that was one of the most scared times I can remember. I might have looked cool on the outside, but on the inside, I was shaking like a leaf. My first day there, I seen a guy get carted out on a stretcher. And I'd ask somebody, I say, yo, man, what happened to him? They said, oh, he owed somebody for some tobacco. And they beat him to death with aluminum baseball bat. So when I seen this guy get carted out with a neck brace on a stretcher, I said, oh, my goodness. You know what? But by then, I felt that I could do it. I had already done almost 11 months by then. I could see the home stretch. But as weird as it sounds, prison is a little better than jail. You have more room. You have more freedoms. I had a weight room. I didn't have a weight room in jail. In jail, you couldn't do nothing but push-ups and do pull-ups on stairs and things like that. And I didn't have to work out on a smooth concrete floor. I believe that added to my sciatica, by the way. I always had back problems, probably from my father, hereditary.
Right.
But working out for 10 months on smooth concrete, wearing those little Jackie Chan shoes, I believe it really added to my sciatica. So a year before I was released, my whole left side went numb. I didn't know if it was from meningitis. It was a lot of diseases in there. I've seen cats had cancer, meningitis, tuberculosis. Thank God COVID wasn't out at the time. But
absolutely. So what is the healthcare like in there?
And in jail, the healthcare it's a lady that comes around, a nurse with a cart, and she'll give you medication if you need it. In prison, you have to fill out a chit. You fill it out and you request to be seen. They'll get to you when they can. The only healthcare that I can recall getting first when they get in there, they say, you need to get a tetanus shot just in case somebody shank you. I said, oh, great. That's great. I don't plan on getting shanked, but,
right.
I took the tetanus shot and I remember going numb, and on my left side, I was locked up with a few people that I knew, and they got word back to my family what was going on. And believe it or not, I'm still numb on that side. I can remember February 2005 is when it happened. I can't
When it
exactly
started,
remember
wow.
the date, but I believe it was just the generation of the disc and sleeping on those thin mattresses, even though I had double mattress. You know, I mean, I always can finesse the rules. You know, it's one thing how you treat people and how you relate to people. People are helping.
You gotta come back for part two. You gotta come back for part two. Listen, 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 listen. I'm telling you, and I'm telling you now, you don't want to miss it. If you can't stay up late, if your eyes are already burning, it's 8:02, no problem. We will have this airing tomorrow at 1 p.m. You cannot miss the rest of this story. Listen, I want y'all to have a good night. Thank you for coming out. And remember, if you don't know him in the pardoning of your sins, get to know him, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the one that met me at the well and told me all about myself. And because of my encounter with him, my life has forever been changed. I'm your girl, R.D. Hill, and you are at the Well Woman Experience Podcast, where it's a safe place to tell your story of how you overcame adversity, the challenges, and you stepped on the head of Satan and you said, though you meant to slay me, God meant it for my good. I love you all. I wish you well, and I'll see you on the other side tonight, 10:45. Meet me here at the well. Love you too. Good night.